You're listening to Snippets from the Summit with your host, Scott McKay.
Oh, how's it going, gentlemen? This is your main man, Scott McKay, coming at you again with another Snippet from the Summit as part of the Mountaintop podcast from X and Y Communications. Today, I'm going to talk about being girl-oriented rather than goal-oriented. Now, if you are a little bit cynical about men relating to women, you're probably thinking I'm going to somehow turn into a simp here and start talking about how you should be fawning at women and doing anything for them and just trying to make them happy or appease them or supplicate to them in any way, shape, or form you can in hopes of maybe getting their attention or getting affection from them. Well, that's not exactly what I'm going to talk about. Matter of fact, that's not what I'm going to talk about at all. In fact, the focus is going to be more on that other term, being goal-oriented. At least kind of at the beginning here so we can set the premise for the big picture. Hey, as a man, you want to be goal-oriented. It's masculine to have a plan, to have ambition, and to really go after something in life. And women are highly attracted to that because, you know what, they're going to follow a man's lead and they want to hitch their wagon to a guy who's going somewhere. And that's why the idea of being goal-oriented is generally considered to be a good thing if you're a guy. But when it comes to women, women are human beings just like us. They're not some sort of goal to be achieved. Because, that idea starts kind of rhyming with, sexual conquest and, negative ideas like that. But that said, perfectly good men can find themselves feeling a little bit, if not a lot bit, goal-oriented when it comes to getting women. For example, you hear about guys kind of talking about women as if they're closing a sales deal, with phrases like seal the deal referring to having sex with a woman. Another example would be the frequent use of the term escalate, no thanks to the pickup artist movement, to refer to kind of moving a woman up some sort of sexual ladder for their own personal gain, of course. Well, you know what? As I like to do, let's put the shoe on the other foot for a brief moment here. What if a woman is looking at you as sort of a conquest? What if she has goals related to you? Well, stereotypically, men kind of label women gold diggers when they're just trying to use a guy for money or to get ahead or to get a green card or whatever they're doing. It's not seen as a particularly ethical mission for a woman to be on relative to finding a guy. Matter of fact, I've even heard the term gold digger, G-O-A-L, to refer to a woman who's, got an agenda with a certain man instead of really loving him or appreciating him for who he is. And you know what? Gold digging, G-O-L-D, is really just a subset of that, isn't it? Like we've already talked about here. So what would happen if we as men took the lead in kind of bucking that trend and looking at women as human beings who we want to connect with, relate to, and appreciate? Well, would that make us a simp? No, it would make us a human being with a soul who's actually reaching out to another human being to see if we can relate to each other positively and we like spending time together. And you know what? If we show up as a man and that masculine-feminine polarity starts working its magic, well then you're going to be well on your way to having a woman who you enjoy spending time with and you're hot for, and vice versa. And that's what it's all about. But see, when we're goal-oriented with a woman, and we're just going after, say, that sexual conquest, or maybe we're thinking she can be our sugar mama and buy us a few things and take care of us for a while, or maybe it would be good to have a girlfriend to come clean my apartment and cook for me and stuff like that. All of that is being goal-oriented. So when I talk about being girl-oriented, yeah, it's a play on words, and it's kind of gimmicky. It makes a good title for a podcast episode, but the magic to being girl-oriented is you're about connecting with the woman and seeing where that actual relationship with another human being, albeit a hot female one, is going, rather than simply falling back into that transactional trap and saying to yourself, well, what can I get out of this relationship? The opposite of that in terms of girl orientation instead of goal orientation would be to ask yourself, how can I get to know this woman? How can we be in partnership? How can we mutually enjoy our lives together? Yeah, even if you're just friends with benefits, that matters even if it's short term. Because I'll tell you what, no man likes to be treated like an ATM machine, and no woman likes to be treated like a sex object. Once we realize this cuts both ways, and it's our job as men to lead as human beings connecting with women, guess what, gentlemen? your success with women overall, which is what we're all here to achieve, will skyrocket. And that's a promise. Want to talk about this or anything else? Scott at mountaintoppodcast.com. Be good out there.
As always, visit mountaintoppodcast.com for more.